Once upon a time, in a shining castle surrounded by a big, beautiful forest, there lived a kind and lovely princess. She loved to wander in the royal garden and spent her afternoons playing with her favorite golden ball, which sparkled brightly in the sunlight like a little sun in her hands. One warm afternoon, the princess tossed her golden ball high into the air with joy. But, oh dear, she missed catching it, and the shiny ball rolled across the grass, bouncing and tumbling until, splash, it dropped into the deep, dark well nearby. The princess ran to the stone well and leaned over carefully, but she could not see the bottom. Her precious golden ball was gone. Tears filled her eyes, and she sat down sadly by the edge, crying softly, for it was her most treasured toy in all the world. As the princess wept, she suddenly heard a gentle croak. "Ribbit, ribbit!" Out of the tall grass hopped a little green frog. He climbed onto the edge of the well and looked up at her with bright, curious eyes. "Why are you so sad, dear princess?" the frog asked kindly. The princess brushed away her tears and sighed. "Oh, little frog, my golden ball has fallen into the well, and it is lost forever. Nothing can make me happy again without it." The frog puffed up his chest bravely and said, "Do not cry, dear princess. I can dive into the deep water and bring your golden ball back to you. But first, you must promise to give me something in return." The princess leaned closer, hopeful. "Oh, thank you, little frog," she exclaimed. "You may have anything you wish, my jewels, my fine clothes, even the crown upon my head. Just bring me back my ball." The frog shook his head gently. "No, dear princess, I do not want gold, jewels, or treasures. What I want is your friendship. Let me sit beside you, share your food, drink from your cup, and rest on your pillow. That is all I ask." The princess laughed a little at such a strange request. "A frog as my friend? That could never be," she thought. Still, eager to have her ball again, she nodded quickly. Yes, I promise you whatever you ask. Just bring me back my golden ball." Without another word, the frog leapt into the air and splashed down into the well. The princess waited anxiously. At last, up he came, holding the golden ball in his mouth. He hopped to her feet and dropped it gently on the grass. The princess clapped her hands with joy. Her precious treasure was safe again.
But the frog gently reminded her of the promise. "Take me with you. Let me eat at your table and be your friend." The princess frowned and hesitated, not wanting to listen. But as soon as she had her golden ball back in her hands, the princess ran as fast as she could toward the palace, leaving the poor little frog all alone by the well, calling after her. That very evening, while the princess dined in the grand hall with her father the king, there came a sudden knock at the palace door, and a tiny familiar voice echoed through the chamber. The frog hopped bravely into the great hall, and the king, with a serious face, reminded his daughter of her promise, a royal promise that could not be broken. At the king's command, the princess sat stiffly at the table and shared her meal. The frog ate happily, smacking his lips with joy, while the princess turned away, trying not to look at him. Later that night, the princess had no choice but to keep her word again. She had to let the frog rest in her royal bedroom. Oh, how she pouted and frowned, for she was certainly not happy about sharing her bed with a slimy frog.
Finally, the princess lost her temper and tossed the little frog away. But instead of hopping away, the little frog looked up at her with big, hopeful golden eyes.
In the softest voice, he whispered, "If you give me just one kiss, my curse will be broken." The princess sighed, but her kind heart could not say no. She bent down and gave the frog a gentle kiss, and in that very moment, a swirl of golden magic sparkled all around them. The frog disappeared, and before her stood a handsome young prince with a warm smile and shining eyes. The princess gasped in wonder, and the prince bowed deeply. He thanked her for her bravery and kindness, for she had broken the spell at last. From that day on, the princess and the prince became the best of friends, and soon they grew to love each other dearly. Together they returned to the grand castle, where the whole kingdom celebrated with joy and music. And so the princess and the prince lived happily ever after, in a kingdom filled with love, laughter, and magic.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new one. More amazing stories coming your way.